Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
From this moment on, I'm going to stop doing the whole because I think
3, 2, 1, record.
I was Wayne's World trained.
Yeah.
And so whenever I think of recording something,
right. The light's got to be green.
Yes, and you got somebody counting down, and then as we all know, it's always the 5, 4, 3, and then
2 fingers, 1 finger, no finger.
Exactly.
and then you're on.
on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Biofriendly Podcast. I'm your co-host, Noel Carroll.
And I'm Jacob Givens.
Welcome.
See, that's what I think, what I'm learning is that at least with podcasts is there's this comfortability. It's like, hey, come sit with me for a second. We're just going to catch up.
Let's just have a seat on the couch.
Let's just
Let's
visit.
just have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Sit by the fire.
And just talk.
Let's have a little conversation.
This isn't formal. This is just you and me getting to know one another.
You and me getting to know the world and how to make it greener.
A
nicer place to live.
A nicer climate.
Yeah, a more
pleasant.
a more pleasant
climate
for us and for all the species who live with us.
So beautiful.
Isn't that just gorgeous?
I'm going to put something very pretty behind it.
Maybe like tweeting birds. And,
yes.
You know.
Oh, see, you got it already.
Absolutely.
Tweeting birds. If only a cartoon bird could come in and land on your finger right now.
Oh, I would rock that.
Oh, it just did.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. You're a great whistler, by the way. I've always thought of that about you. You're one of those people. There's some people that are born with the Disney whistle. They can do like really nice whistling.
I'm blessed. Hashtag.
For the whistling.
Absolutely.
It's a skill.
Animated birds, deer, rabbits, insects are constantly
There's got to be
living in my hair.
There's got to be a group of voiceover artists, people, and there's a subcategory of whistlers.
Whisttlers.
There's got to be these people did the voices on for Family Guy and The Simpsons, but is he a whistler?
No, he can't whistle, man. The guy's got no whistle game.
He's got no whistle. The guy's got zero whistle game.
This guy thinks he can play this role. He can't whistle.
What if that was a sign? What if that was a sign of being really tough? Yeah. Like the ability to whistle was
among voiceover artists.
Yes, yeah. like that guy whistles hard.
Yeah, that guy can whistle. I just don't want to.
Have you heard that dude?
I mean, I just don't want to mess with that guy.
Unbelievable.
He walks in the room and then he whistles like that, and then the animals come, and I'm just out.
He walks in the room, he whistles like that, and I'm like. See, do you hear how bad my? See, I should have had you do it. See, mine is so breathy. I can whistle, but it's just not.
Like if that was what you needed to hit on girls, as you're coming out of college, like, hey, babe.
Yeah.
And she's like, you seem nice, but I'm going to go hang out with this guy over here.
He's got a really breathy. Listen to that. See,
and she's just all over that guy.
All over the whistler.
Yeah.
Whistler.
Or he's all over that guy.
Yeah.
Or she's all over that girl.
Whatever you're into whistling wise.
We are open. Everybody gets to be part of this podcast.
In today's
Everybody
day and
gets to be part of
age,
this podcast.
I don't care how you do it as long as you're good at whistling.
Yes. If you whistle, you're in.
You're in.
If you can't whistle, get out of podcast.
You're not welcome here unless you can whistle. I don't think my son can whistle, which is sad. He's still trying to learn.
Well,
it's a skill.
We can't all get there. Jacob, he's never going to whistle.
You're right.
If he can't whistle by now, it's too late. He's, what is he now? 13, 14, 15 years old?
He is
16,
10 years old.
10 years old.
10.
He's a big kid.
Big kid. So I guess,
of course I know how old your son is. I'm joking.
So we are actually gearing up for something pretty big.
I cannot believe it's already here.
I know. It's amazing. Coming up this next Monday is Earth Day. Earth Day. That's
unreal.
That's a big one.
It's one of the biggies.
We warmed up with Earth Hour.
Yeah.
But this is Earth Day.
Yeah.
And this has been going on.
This is where you shut off the lights all day.
This is where you pretend to be the Earth for the entire
day.
You roll up in a ball.
Right.
And then you just have people throw crap on you.
Right. And they overheat you.
They overheat you
Yeah,
and they just
they piss on
abuse
your water.
you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's Earth Day.
Yeah, that's Earth Day.
No, it's a big
So
day.
we can all understand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a day that's been going on for a very long time, and I don't think I realized how long this has been going on.
How long has it been going on?
1970.
No way.
70. We are in the 49th year. That means in 20...
next year's a biggie.
Yes, 2020 is the
that's cool.
50th anniversary of Earth Day.
We got to do something massive for
I think so.
50th Earth
I think,
Day.
you know what's crazy is in a lot of these podcasts, we're like, next year, we're going big.
We're gonna have the biggest,
The
most
bar
amazing.
has been set so high for 2020. The good news is that 2021, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, because the world's gonna end.
Yes. Oh man. We were making such great progress.
We're doing great.
It's
It's getting better, and then we were wrong.
Well, you'll be able to whistle about it, though.
I will. I'll whistle the whole way.
The whole way
to hell.
to hell. So yeah, this has been going on since 1970, and I mean, I know that even since we were kids, like in grade school, I remember there being Earth Day things very, very clearly, and a big significant one was 1990. Yeah. So you'll probably that might even stick out in your mind if you think back to 1990. Your school probably did a real big deal back then for that because that was like
I remember a bigger.
That was
day.
like a 20-year. That was really where they were starting to get more, mainstream and getting the message out, and it was more of a global initiative.
Right.
So it's been
and
around.
now it's like it's everywhere.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive. And a little bit of I'll share with you a little bit of a history of Earth Day.
Of Earth Day. Can you do the whole thing in a really, really
like
sophisticated
Attenborough, kind of like.
Just
Each year, Earth Day, April 22nd, marks the anniversary of the birth of the modern environmental movement in 1970.
You don't say.
Yes. The height of counterculture in the United States, 1970 brought the death of Jimi Hendrix, the last Beatles album, and Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge over Troubled Water.
Now, hold on a second. Jimi Hendrix is dead?
Yes.
When did this happen?
It's back in 1970.
Why was I not informed?
You should have been told about this eons
This is a
ago.
disaster. The man is an absolute artist.
By the way, there's no more fun word to say than disaster.
Disaster.
This is a disaster.
The man was a genius.
An absolute
He's no longer with us.
a disaster.
Hold on a moment while I cry in the corner.
So
War raged in...
He lost the accent for a second.
So by the way, this show is going to be called Jacob Hyperventilates While Laughing and Dies.
War raged in Vietnam, and students nationwide overwhelmingly opposed it. This is too long of a description.
It takes too long to read this description.
Anyway, this is way too much.
Attenborough English.
Way too much. I'm going to say,
Wow.
okay.
So basically, there was a lot of tragedy and a lot of like culture-wise big things happening.
Yeah,
Death of Hendrix, end of the Beatles. Vietnam War's going on.
People were
Things are
bombed.
crazy.
Things are falling
down.
apart. The idea for a national day to focus on the environment came to Earth Day. Founder Gaylord Nelson, a then U.S. senator from Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. We love
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
yeah,
We shot a movie up
He
there.
was eating some cheese, and he was like, we got to do something about this planet. So,
Those cheese curds probably.
Yeah,
They're probably great in the 70s too.
yeah, I bet so. This, and by the way, this ties back to what we talked about before. He was one of the things that kind of inspired him to start this was right after the ravage of the 1969 massive oil spill in Santa Barbara, California. So that's kind of, and he didn't even know what was coming up in a few decades after that. Remember when I talked about the big ones? Like that one probably is, was
compared to the Gulf, and it was
it's nowhere near as big. Yeah. But he pushed for, announced the idea for a national teach-in on the environment to the national media, and that's when it kind of became a thing. And it says on April 22nd. 1970, 20 million Americans took to the streets, parks, and auditoriums to demonstrate for a healthy, sustainable environment in massive coast-to-coast rallies. So that's
great.
We go all the way back to 1970.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is I didn't even know, and this is shame on me.
Yeah.
If you were to have asked me before this recording, what day is Earth Day? I would have gone,
it's is it July?
Yeah, I would have been like September.
Is it? I think it's on the 14th moon.
Does Green Day do a song about it?
Absolutely.
I think I think that
It's an Earth Day. Just say God, say hello. That doesn't rhyme.
It's good. It's good. If you have notes for us on our Green Day covers, then let us know. So, no, but I shamefully, Earth Day would roll around and I would be like, oh, yeah, of course it's Earth Day. But if you were to ask me months in advance, like, hey, when's Earth Day? I would not have remembered. But for our listeners, it's April 22nd.
Period.
It always will be.
It's that day?
On that day.
Yeah.
April 2/2, 4/2/2.
4/2/2.
That's 2 days after Weed Day.
And of course, everybody remembers that day.
Everybody remembers 420.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard to remember a stoner day, but Earth Day, literally 2 days later, everybody's coming out of their weed hazes, and it's like, dude, it's time to also help Earth not fall apart.
Now that you're awake.
Now that you know what's going on around you, by the way.
Put down the Funyuns and help out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Put down the Funyuns and help out. I want that on a...
That's a bumper sticker.
That's a bumper sticker right there. Put down the Funyuns
and help out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, put down the Funyuns and help out, for goodness sake. Jimi Hendrix is dead. Didn't you hear? The Beatles have broken up. There's a war going on in Vietnam. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Get that whistling boy in here. I feel better now. I can't be upset at the whistling boy.
So anyway, so Earth Day.
Yeah, so Earth Day. So that's coming up on Monday, and every year has a different theme. And so on Earth Day, which our next episode will be on, we will cover...
We'll be actually on Earth Day.
Yes.
On Monday.
And it'll be on Monday, Earth Day. And so the theme is protect our species. And so we will tackle that on that episode. We'll dive into this year, 2019's theme for Earth Day.
That'll be great. That'll be a fun day.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to crush that one.
We're going to crush
like today's podcast, little crappy, like not great work.
No.
Like this is our definitely, like I would say on a scale of 106 to 35, this one's like probably a 20.
I don't do math.
26 or 27.
That's spot on.
You know, whereas I think the one on Monday,
yeah,
that'll be like a 902.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to bring live animals in.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We're going to bring in, like...
We're going to interview them.
We're going to interview live animals about being protected, and we're going to have them talk... And then we're going to...
have them, like, explain what it's like to almost be extinct, right?
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, look, you know, you might not know, you might not care because you're not almost extinct, but for me...
Like, I want to
I'm totally in trouble here. I'm a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, I want to know
I'm about to die.
Yeah.
Like all my cousins, my friends, you know?
I want to know what's going on in that head of yours. And then we're going to have some visitors from some ghost extinct species. So, like, the dodo bird's going to cruise by.
Oh, that's sweet.
Get some dodo bird
Get a tyrannosaur in here.
Yeah, and just hear from them about, like...
Let them vent.
What is life like now that it's over?
just vent, guys. This is this is an open forum.
Yeah.
This is a safe place.
Yeah.
You say what you feel.
Yeah.
Just say what you feel, and we're here for you.
And you know, with those species, they'd be like, you know, Earth Day started in 1970. So any of them that went extinct before then, they'd be like, yeah, real great, guys. Glad you came together right in time for us to survive. As they look over at, you know, these, you know, whatever species are deer. We have plenty of deer, right? Yeah. So, like, deer are smugly like, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
No worries. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Rabbits.
Yeah. Deers.
Yeah.
So it's a big
So that's the theme. Cool. Yeah. So we'll tackle that sucker.
We'll tackle that, but today we talk about what's happening and what the whole thing's about. I mean,
cool.
I even have a thing here.
Yeah.
That says, what is Earth Day and what is it meant to accomplish?
This is information I actually need to know because
exactly.
I understand that I'm supposed to appreciate the Earth, but
what am I supposed to do about
why?
it?
Like,
right?
what am I?
But why?
Like, who?
Why?
I mean, it seems like things are fine, man. things are great.
Things are great.
Things are so good. I've got air.
Yeah.
Got water.
To be fair,
got a heater.
Before I even, you know what? That's a good point. Before I even get to what Earth Day is supposed to come, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
Which is we've been doing this podcast for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
And so of course along the way,
months actually.
Yeah.
If you include all the lost podcasts that were on that hard drive.
You're right.
We've been doing it for
destroyed.
months. The one where
my
where we
bad.
saved the planet.
My bad. It was a disaster. It's totally not a disaster.
So
luckily, the death of Hendrix distracted everyone.
So
sorry.
we've been sharing. No, it's fine. we've been sharing this stuff, you know, the podcast and so friends, family, people I know. And so, of course, I have people that there's a lot of skepticism about save the environment movements, right? There's some people that look at this as kind of like, that's just an agenda.
Right.
That's aligned with the left. That's just green,
Hippies.
like hippie stuff. And
So many hippies.
they're just dismissive of it, right?
Totally.
And that's fine. I know
I mean,
everybody's...
we've been receiving a surprising amount of that response since starting this podcast.
Yes,
You know?
that comes up. And so one of the things that somebody shared with me right when I was sharing was this classic George Carlin stand-up routine from the early 1990s.
Yeah.
And it's this whole rant that he does about saving the planet and what BS that is. You've heard it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm not going to play it here, but it's like, because it's littered with
it's a good long
F-bombs.
rant.
Yes. And there's lots of profanity in it, but he goes on to basically say like how arrogant it is of humanity to have holidays like Earth Day, because the Earth, we don't need to save the planet. The planet's going to be just fine without us. Like, we're going to die. We're going to die out, and the planet's going to go on after us. Like, it's going to be fine. And he's right.
We're all. I mean, he's with us dying part.
He's right with his. The funny thing is, the bit is often used as kind of this like kind of a way to make people feel better. Like, see, it doesn't matter anyway. Like, the planet's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Like, the planet's going to be fine. But what they're not paying attention to,
We're not.
That's the second part of the joke. The first part of the joke is like, yeah, you know, you want all this save the environment, the planet. How arrogant of you. But the second part of the joke is, if we don't do anything to solve where we're at now, humanity is gone.
Right.
Right.
Well, and also we're crediting scientific knowledge to
From
a comedian.
a stand-up
Granted,
comedian. Yes,
he's
yes,
probably
yes, yes.
the best stand-up comedian ever.
Yeah,
I mean, in his
very.
field,
Yes.
he is the tops.
Very funny.
Was the tops.
Great comedian,
Yes.
great writer, but not an ecologist.
Right. I mean, he for a while was going around saying he was going to live forever. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that people say you can't live forever is because no one's done it yet, and that he was going to be the first.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out for you, George?
It didn't work out.
I mean, it didn't. I
So-
mean, they have to make Bill and Ted 3 without him because of his audacity
That is-
to go and die.
I
The
can't
George
even-
Carlin Foundation is now going to be writing letters.
I
and
can't
like,
even speak right now that I didn't put together that Rufus is not going to be available for Bill and Ted
know.
3. That's heartbreaking.
Isn't that Crusher?
Oh man,
It's a Crusher, but apparently they're gonna reference it somehow. There'll
There's
be
going to
some
be a
kind of
CG.
some kind of. Well, I don't know. Who knows? You never know.
Right now, Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are like, we don't have the budget for a CG Rufus.
So
We
they
barely
all-
got this film
They
greenlit,
only gave us like $42 and some bubble gum.
so we can't
But
CG George Carlin.
We've got digital Well, I've got an iPhone.
Yeah.
So we'll totally
We'll do it.
We'll make the movie.
Download an app.
Yeah.
So where are we? George Carlin.
Carlin. Yeah. No. So he's like, look. I mean, I think it's possible that he's right, and that all this plastic will just, absorb into the planet in the next
planet will be
a couple
okay,
billion
and-
years, and it'll all be good, or it'll
Yeah.
all just get absorbed by the sun in a supernova at some point anyway, and who cares?
Yeah.
This is all
Yeah.
possibly true, but
But
it might
a big but.
not be. Like if you superheat an environment, then you change the chemistry of the environment. And if
Exactly.
you change the chemistry of the environment, then the Earth will still be here, but it might be a Venetian rock.
Yes, and so that's the thing. That's what he says in there. He's like, the Earth has been here for 4 billion years, so it's going to be here long after we're gone. Well, he's right. Like humanity, humans have been here for 200,000 years.
Yeah.
And you go, we just got here a little while ago,
Right.
but it doesn't mean that we can't totally trash this place like we're in Motley Crue. In the 1980s, like I'm literally Tommy Lee flipping over the table of Earth, and peeing in a corner and just being like, I don't care. Sure,
I'm gonna live forever.
I'm gonna live forever, and you won't.
No.
And so that's the thing is like, absolutely, it's still gonna be standing when we're long gone, but
In what state?
In what state? And if you have children and they have children and so on and so forth, and you want the human species to continue, you are concerned, well, maybe I don't want to hand the keys to this place and it's just burning down behind me. I don't mean
Right.
like, here's your home that I promised you, and it's on fire.
And it's on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Here's your Porsche. The doors are missing and there's no engine.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that where we can all come to the middle on this, which is, why I brought that up, is that, again, the Biofriendly podcast is seeking to find a human thread in all of this, right?
Yeah. Because look, I think the perspective, and I think you're totally right. I think that people get very overwhelmed by the concept of being an environmentalist. They get very overwhelmed by the concept of I have to go out and march on Earth Day.
Yeah.
Or I have to like participate. What is that?
Yeah.
I got to go to work. I have
What's
to actually
required?
raise these kids. If I don't pay the bills, they're not going to live to the end of the week, let alone adulthood. Yeah. So there's that perspective.
Yes.
And I think that we're trying to take that into account.
Yeah.
Right? That it's not like I get that. I get that. You have to live.
Yeah.
Fair. Totally fair. You got to live. You got to move. So we're not asking on Earth Day for you to look at some huge, big thing that you're supposed to do on Earth Day, some massive event or some like you don't take the day off of work and then go march in a parade.
Yeah,
you
go
don't
to your job.
have to do that.
Right.
We're just saying, take a moment.
Yeah.
And just take a moment and think about, it's Earth Day.
Yeah.
Just that little thing.
That one thought look, I went onto the website for this to kind of learn more about it. And there's just a treasure trove of information and charts and diagrams and everything that you would possibly want to know about. And you could easily get it overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You could easily be like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah.
But if you were to just even have the thought, look at one or two things, consider something. Look, their message is protect the species. If you learned one thing about the species during this Earth Day, then you've accomplished something. Your wisdom will be being carried on, because then you'll make a choice a year from now, 5 years from now, that impacts the planet in a positive way.
In fact, we're going to make it so easy for you, the guy with the George Carlin video, to celebrate Earth Day in the easiest way possible.
And what's that?
All you have to do is listen to the podcast on Monday.
Yes, that's true.
And we will teach you something.
That's true.
It'll be fun. It'll be informative. It'll be simple.
We'll make it funny.
We'll tell you a little something about species and what's going on.
Yep.
It won't be overwhelming.
Yep.
We won't ask you to go donate a bunch of money to save the rhinoceros.
Yeah.
We're just
listen.
Just giving you some data.
Listen
You
to
got a
us.
little piece of info.
You get a little bit of knowledge,
And
you
then-
walk away, and you go, I did my Earth Day,
And
man.
then we'll take the piss out of it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I
Yeah.
get it, because, there's some of that's deserved. Some of what George Carlin has to say is completely correct.
Yes, because
You
when
don't want to go overboard. You don't want to go nuts on it. You can't.
Totally.
It's impossible and rude to ask every human on Earth to change everything that they're doing.
I know.
To make it work, and they won't do it.
I know. And this is another thing about what you're saying. That my friend who wrote us and said, I enjoy the podcast so much, and thanks for not making me feel like you're shaming me from your pile of recycled by Buddy Kevin.
Recycled plastic tower.
Your recycled plastic tower. You wrote that to me. And I thought that is a very common criticism of environmentalism, is shaming.
Right.
And making you feel bad.
Right.
And I think that, I know your heart's in the right place if you want, you feel the urgency. When
Right.
you're passionate about issues, you feel urgency.
Right.
But
And when people are just doing nothing,
Right,
When
right.
when
You're gonna get
when they're
frustrated.
giving no effort and they're saying literally the opposite of screw you, and then throwing the trash on the ground,
then you're going to get frustrated.
I get that you lose it.
Cut to you
get
and
that you
me
lose it.
in a decade from now. I mean, I can't even imagine if we were doing this and we didn't see change, which I'm hoping that's not the case.
We've already we've been to the future. Bill and Ted came with the machine and with the telephone booth.
That's
and they
right.
popped
They
in there.
told
They
us-
showed us what happens. We fixed it.
Yeah,
we
you're
fixed
right.
it.
We
I'm just
solved
kidding,
it.
by the way. The world doesn't end in 2020. The world will be fine in 2020. It's 2,000 years from now that the scroll opens.
Yes, we agreed upon that.
Yeah.
The scroll that we leave the future generations.
Right.
But he said that to us about not making him feel ashamed, and I think that that's the goal that we're trying to do here, which is we have Earth Day. Now I know it's April 22nd. I'll never forget that fact, and I'm hoping now that you're listening to this episode, you're like, oh, I'll always know that because I heard it on this episode. Right? You'll always be thinking 2 days after people get
2
stoned.
days after I'm high,
Yes.
I gotta get up.
I got to get up and
just
pick up some trash.
Think for 1 second about the
Yeah.
environment. Maybe recycle one can.
One thing, man.
Maybe cut the shower down by a minute.
Yeah, maybe like look to see if there's a poacher in your neighborhood
And shoot him.
taking. If there is a guy in your neighborhood that is shooting animals in your on your street, then you should definitely make sure he does not do
You
that.
should next stab him.
You should. With a hug.
With
Noel.
a hug.
With an environmental
An
hug.
environmentally friendly. Just sit him down and have a nice long conversation.
Just
about
like
Earth
we
Day.
are with you right now.
And that'll work.
Just think,
Don't
a year
stop.
ago, you were that guy.
I was that guy. I was shooting things a year ago. I was walking around the neighborhood poaching.
Poachy.
I was just they used to call me Noli Poachy Pants.
No poachy pants. I remember that. How much you've changed.
I'm a different man.
So I think it's good that we talked about that because there's the other side to this, and our goal is to the right, the left, the conservatives, the liberals. It's like whatever you think is going on. I think we can all look around and say there's trash. Things seem a little weird. Farmers are even coming forward and saying, hey, it's not looking so good out there for our crops.
Sure.
It seems like the planet's shifting in weird ways.
You know what's interesting is litter, right?
Yeah.
That is a green topic. It's a green topic. And
Yeah.
do you know the most famous state in the union in dealing with litter is Texas.
Really?
Don't mess with Texas.
Yeah.
Texas has really stern policies. Like the fines are crazy.
That's awesome.
The message is clear. They're being it's being well taught, and this is considered one of like the
Absolutely.
center of
Yeah.
conservatism, right?
Yeah.
So it is in a conservative state like that.
Yeah.
You get an environmental issue that they care about.
Yeah.
And it's done. You get education, you get legislation, you get a populace that understands that's not something we want to do, and they don't. So you don't get as much litter in Texas as you do everywhere else.
Yeah.
because they care, because that's something that they put the focus on. So it's not like conservatives don't care about the environment. You just got to look
agree.
at what's the topic
Exactly.
that gets them going. What do they disagree with? What do they agree with? What do they care about?
Right.
Most people, are kind of closer to the middle than you realize.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah, and check out this. If everybody on this side did the thing that they were passionate about, and everybody on this side did the thing that they were passionate about, we'll be fine.
Right.
Because there's millions of us.
Right.
There's millions. The
Yes.
problem is, it's the inaction, the little baby steps that if we could just get everybody to do a little bit,
Right.
then a lot can happen.
Right.
So let's stop
And
worrying.
that's kind of our Earth Day message.
Yes, let's stop worrying about what you're doing is not right or wrong. Just focus on what you care about and what you're passionate about, and learn a thing that means something to you to help the future.
Absolutely. And we're going to cover a lot of stuff over the years here. Like we're
yeah.
going to minutia, like little tiny topics about what's going on in the environment. And just if there's something that speaks to you, pick it out and be like, oh, that's interesting to me.
That's the thing that I could do.
Right.
Right.
Well, if you love the oceans,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you don't give a rat's patoot about polar ice caps.
Yeah.
That's okay. But you are a huge fan of scuba diving. And the water and big
coral reefs.
and you're worried about coral bleaching. Maybe you find out a bit of information about that. Maybe give you a little data to help you. To fix that problem, and that can be your thing. And if you focus on that thing, you're helping.
Exactly.
That's huge, right?
Word.
So it's just there's a lot out there to do, and that's in the end. That's kind of the message of Earth Day, right? I mean, this year we're focusing on obviously extinction, the species that are endangered, and
endangered species.
But in general, it's the theme changes every year. The idea is this is a planet, we live on it together.
Exactly.
What's a little thing?
Exactly. And I think that's why they change the themes year after year. It is taking into effect that there's going to be certain things that are going to connect with others. Some people are going to be moved by animals. Some people are going to be moved by pollution. Some people are going to be moved by water. There's just going to be things that mean something to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Before we wrap things up, here's now that we've circled back, the things that Earth Day, what is meant to accomplish, what we were going to say. So since it's coming up this Monday, by the way, we highly advise you to go to the Earth Day, it is Earth Day. Sorry, I was thinking Earth Hour for a second. Earthday.org, I think is the website, and there's a plethora.
There's a plethora of
absolute plethora of information.
So much information.
You could get lost in there for months just trying to learn more about what's going on the Earth, and you have no idea.
I highly recommend listening to All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix as you read the Earth Day website.
Because as we all know, Jimi Hendrix would have loved Earth Day.
He would have loved it.
In
so
fact, I'd like to
very
think that Jimi Hendrix is still here in our hearts,
It's
even
a
if
disaster
not
that it's not.
physically. present.
That's another great word in that physically. Physically. All right, I digress. Okay. What is Earth Day and what is it meant to accomplish? Earth Day is now a global event each year, and we believe that more than 1 billion people in 192 countries now take part in what is the largest civic focus day of action in the world.
Great.
It is a day of political action and civic participation. People march, they sign petitions, they meet with their elected officials, they plant trees, they clean up their towns and roads. Corporations and governments use it to make pledges and announce sustainability measures. Faith leaders, including Pope Francis, connect Earth Day with protecting God's greatest creations, humans, biodiversity, and the planet that we all live on. That literally echoes. I hadn't read that yet.
That is awesome.
That echoes exactly what we just said.
Right.
Everything was different.
Right.
It was going from the march to the petition to the action to the, you know what I mean? It was saying,
and also,
these are all the things you can do.
You look at that, it is not even a philosophical issue.
Right.
That was so interesting about that. You look at Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church.
Right.
He's like, okay, so here's what Earth Day means to us from a perspective of God.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you can be an atheist.
Yeah.
Or you can be a Catholic. You can be the Pope.
Yeah.
And this holiday can be one that you can share. So for one day, you can agree on something. You got this, this is one thing that we can agree on.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what we're looking for on Earth Day. And that's what we should be trying to... When the day comes, as you're preparing yourself for Earth Day,
you got a whole weekend.
You got a whole weekend to just gear up.
Gear up, baby.
You know, I mean,
get on your Earth outfits.
Yeah, exactly. You have to, look, 420 is coming up soon, so set yourself up with 420.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You will be stoned on Saturday,
Yeah.
but on Monday, baby, focus on a different kind of green.
Exactly. So use that focus time from what you're doing on Saturday. To really hone in on how you're gonna find some agreement and some help and some love and make friends.
Yeah.
And hug this planet.
Hug it.
I mean, you could, if you want to literally hug it while you're on 420.
I highly recommend doing that, by the way, because I'm sure it's a beautiful moment. But like, just keep so hug the planet on Saturday, and then on Monday do something about it.
Yeah.
Right. Like maybe step beyond hugging.
Maybe
planet.
one step further.
One step further.
Yeah. Even if it's just like pick up one piece of trash on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Or letting that mellow yellow, or whatever. Like, what is it? That's just one thing. Just
By the way,
one thing.
we have absolutely been doing that in my house, and the smell is just awful.
I can't.
It's
I can't with that one. I don't do that one. I'll be honest.
I'll
be honest. Look.
Hey, you
look,
shoot straight with me. You be yourself.
Look, I am doing a lot to change my life for the environment, and I tried that for about a day.
I know.
It doesn't work in my house.
I know.
It doesn't work in my house.
Look, we bought...
I think I'm just going to get like low water flush toilets or something.
Yes, do that. Yeah. We have a deodorizer that we've been putting in the toilet to help with it because it's bad.
Yeah.
And we can only go a certain amount of time before somebody's like, flush it! Because it's just too bad. So...
See, then if you are from the George Carlin side of this argument, you will get this too. The perspective of the person who's trying, and it's like, I'm not doing that thing.
I'm doing everything I can,
I'm
but
not doing that.
But
I won't do that.
I won't. I will flush my toilet first. This has been awesome. This has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been Jacob, your co-host,
and I've been Noel.
And
this has been what?
Will you do me a favor?
Yes,
No. I was going to say, will you whistle as I say it?
Okay.
The Biofriendly podcast. What's our catchphrase?
we are a beacon of light.
There it is. Okay, I got it. Again. The Biofriendly podcast. A beacon of light for a gloomy environment.
It's the Biofriendly podcast. It's the Biofriendly podcast.